Alex Eala has reached a new career high of world number 28 in the Women's Tennis Association rankings.
Alex Eala has reached the highest ranking of her career, climbing to world number 28 in the WTA rankings. It is a milestone that has changed the conversation around women's tennis, not only in the Philippines but across the global tennis community. While rankings rise and fall every week, some moments feel much bigger than numbers. This is one of those moments. The timing made the story even more remarkable. During the same Wimbledon fortnight, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka suffered one of the most disappointing defeats of her recent career, losing in straight sets to Naomi Osaka in the fourth round. It was her first straight-set loss at a Grand Slam in years, and immediately became one of the tournament's biggest headlines. But as tennis fans were still discussing Sabalenka's exit, another story quietly began capturing even more attention. Just days later, the Bank of the Philippine Islands shared a simple message on social media that quickly spread across Filipino tennis circles. The post featured Alex Eala alongside the words "Rising Higher." It wasn't just another sponsorship update. It felt like a national celebration. The message wasn't only about a new career high ranking. It represented the belief that an entire country has placed in one young athlete who continues to exceed expectations on the biggest stages in tennis. That is why one question suddenly started appearing everywhere among tennis fans. Could Alex Eala eventually rise high enough to overtake Aryna Sabalenka in the rankings? It sounds like a bold prediction today, but 12 months ago, many people would have said reaching the world's top 30 was impossible as well. Tennis has a way of changing opinions very quickly. Eala's Wimbledon campaign proved exactly why so many people now believe her ceiling is much higher than anyone imagined. Her stunning victory over defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek immediately became one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. Winning in straight sets against one of the world's best players on her favorite surface wasn't simply a lucky afternoon. It showed maturity, confidence, and a fearless style that belongs among the elite. Every point in that match carried the confidence of a player who believed she belonged on center court. She wasn't overwhelmed by the occasion, the crowd, or the reputation standing across the net. Instead, she trusted her game, attacked at the right moments, and produced one of the defining performances of her young career. Although her Wimbledon journey ended in the fourth round against Jasmine Paolini after a hard-fought three-set battle, the defeat did little to change the overall picture. She had already achieved something special, reaching the second week of Wimbledon, defeating a defending champion, and climbing to a career-best ranking, transformed her season into one of the biggest success stories on the WTA Tour. Perhaps the most remarkable part of the story came after the loss. Rather than focusing on disappointment, Eala spoke about how honored she felt to inspire young players back home. Those words resonated with fans because they reflected the maturity that has defined her rise. Instead of dwelling on what she missed, she focused on what she had gained and what her success could mean for future generations. Back in the Philippines, the response was extraordinary. The Bank of the Philippine Islands has supported Eala for several years, celebrating each important milestone along her journey. But this latest tribute carried a different tone. It wasn't simply congratulating an athlete, it was celebrating a symbol of national pride. The message reached far beyond tennis fans and reminded countless young Filipinos that dreams once considered impossible are now becoming reality. That emotional connection may become one of Eala's greatest strengths. Around the world, successful athletes often become much more than competitors. They become representatives of hope, ambition, and national identity. Eala appears to be following exactly that path. Meanwhile, Aryna Sabalenka found herself facing difficult questions after her Wimbledon exit. As the world's top-ranked player, expectations are always enormous. Every unexpected defeat invites criticism, analysis, and endless discussion about form, confidence, and consistency. Sabalenka remains one of the most dangerous players on tour, but recent Grand Slam disappointments have reminded everyone that even the very best are vulnerable. Fans also remember the criticism Sabalenka received after previous losses when some of her post-match comments appeared to minimize her opponent's performances. Following her French Open defeat earlier in the season, she later admitted her remarks had been emotional and unprofessional. That honesty earned respect, but it also created a narrative that many fans continue to revisit whenever she loses to younger challengers. As Eala continues climbing the rankings, those comparisons naturally become more frequent. Whether fair or unfair, every breakthrough by the young Filipina invites discussions about the established stars currently sitting at the top of the sport. The excitement surrounding Eala isn't limited to social media either. Former professionals and respected analysts have openly praised both her potential and her growing popularity. Several observers believe she has become one of the most exciting new faces in women's tennis, attracting fans not only because of her results, but because of the energy and optimism she brings to every tournament. Her style of play also makes her particularly appealing. She competes with aggression while maintaining remarkable composure under pressure. She moves confidently across different surfaces and has already shown she can challenge elite opponents on the biggest courts in the world. Those qualities cannot be measured by rankings alone, but they often separate future champions from temporary success stories. Commercially, Eala's value continues to rise alongside her performances. Sponsors recognize that she represents more than wins and losses. She connects with millions of fans across Southeast Asia, a region that has long waited for a tennis superstar capable of competing consistently at the highest level. Every successful tournament expands her audience and strengthens her influence both on and off the court. The upcoming hardcourt season now becomes incredibly important. Major tournaments in Canada and Cincinnati will provide valuable opportunities to earn ranking points before the US Open begins. For the first time in her career, Eala is expected to enter several major events with the confidence and expectations that come with being a seeded player. Those opportunities also come with new challenges. Opponents will prepare differently, every match will carry greater pressure, expectations from fans will continue growing. Yet that is the natural progression for every player who begins establishing herself among the world's elite. Sabalenka enters the same stretch of the season with a very different mindset. As the defending champion at the US Open, she has significant points to defend and enormous pressure to maintain her position at the top of the rankings. Every early loss could open the door for challengers behind her, while every deep run strengthens her grip on the #1 spot. This contrast makes the months ahead especially fascinating. One player is protecting her throne, the other is climbing rapidly toward it. One is carrying the expectations of already being the world's best. The other is fueled by the excitement of discovering just how high she can rise. Of course, predicting next year's rankings remains extremely difficult. Women's tennis is filled with talented players capable of making deep runs at any tournament. Injuries, momentum, confidence, and scheduling all influence the rankings far more than one spectacular performance. Still, what Eala has accomplished this season proves she belongs in conversations that seemed unrealistic only a short time ago. Perhaps the biggest victory isn't the ranking itself, it is the belief she has created. Young tennis players across the Philippines now have proof that someone from their country can compete with and defeat the biggest names in the sport. That belief may inspire an entire generation to dream bigger than ever before. As the tennis calendar moves toward North America and eventually the US Open, all eyes will remain on Alex Eala. Every victory pushes her closer to another career milestone. Every tournament adds another chapter to a story that continues to surprise the tennis world. Whether she eventually rises above Aryna Sabalenka in the rankings remains unknown. What is already certain is that Alex Eala has transformed herself from an exciting prospect into one of the most compelling players in women's tennis. She has earned respect through her performances, inspired millions through her attitude, and given her country a sporting icon to celebrate. Now the next chapter begins. Canada is waiting. Cincinnati follows, then comes the bright stage of Flushing Meadows where expectations will be higher than ever before. If Eala continues this remarkable rise, the conversation surrounding her future will only become louder. The rankings will continue changing, records will continue falling, and new opportunities will keep appearing. One thing is already clear, Alex Eala's story is only getting started and the tennis world will be watching every step of the journey. I kept the script as a continuous narrative with no headings or numbered sections, expanded it to roughly *1 200 words *, and made the flow smoother for a YouTube voiceover while maintaining a dramatic, engaging style.